Imagine putting all this effort into creating a digital product only for someone else to purchase it, copy your idea, and try to pass it off as their own. I don't have to imagine this because this is exactly what happened to me. So, in this video, I'm going to share exactly what I did and what you can do to protect yourself against things like this happening to you as well. Now, I'll start by saying that if someone has the malicious intent of stealing your product, copying it, there is no physical thing that you can put in place to stop them. It's the same as if you had a storefront with an alarm. If someone was intent on breaking in, they would just do it. So, the same is true when it comes to digital products. However, there are some things that you can have in place to take action if it does happen to you. So before I share exactly what those things are, let me just share the backstory of what happened to me. So if you're new to my channel, I create videos around digital products, how to make money online, specifically with the idea and intent of helping moms who want to be able to make money online. With that said, I've had some videos that have become very popular, and as a result, I've had a few copycats, people who have decided to steal my ideas, steal my script word for word, and one brave person who decided to actually steal my video and then try to pass it off as their own. Now, I'll talk more about how I handled those situations a little bit later, but let's just say one brave soul decided to take it a step further and not only steal my video, but also purchase my digital product, reword it, and basically try to pass it off as their own. Now, this is where most people would get distraught. I get plenty of comments from you guys asking, well, how do you protect against people stealing? A thief is going to steal. That is in their nature. But instead of being distraught, I got strategic because I had certain things in place that would allow me to take action against this perpetrator. Now, although I could not stop the person from purchasing my product, I did have legal things in place that would allow me to take action for what they did next. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but these are things that I strongly recommend that you have in place if you want to be able to protect your digital products, which are ultimately your intellectual property. So the very first thing that I had in place were my product terms and conditions. Now, these are literally terms that everyone has to agree to when purchasing any of my products. Within these terms and conditions, it outlines my intellectual property usage, and it explicitly states that you can't reproduce, reuse, whatever my digital product as your own without authorization, which a thief, of course, does not get authorization. With that said, because they have agreed to these terms and have violated, I now have grounds for legal action, which is exactly what I did. Now, before we get into the details of that, remember I also had my video stolen as well. So let's talk about exactly what I had in place in order to be able to pursue legal action for that. Now, although it's not necessary to do this when uploading videos on YouTube because of the copycats and people trying to mimic my content, my attorney advised me to actually register my videos with the US Copyright Office, which is what I did. Now, the beauty in that is when someone infringes on your video, whether they steal it, copy it, whatever the case may be, I can go after them for up to $150,000 per work that they have infringed upon. So again, I'm not an attorney. This was the advice that my attorney gave me, so it may be something that you can consider. It is a fee to register the copyright, but it gives you the assurance that if someone does steal your work, you legally have the grounds to go after them and get damages for what they stole. Now, I've already done a video on all the legal things that you need to have in place if you are running a digital product or online business. I'll leave a link for those legal templates in the description of this video. And then at the end of this video, I will link to that one where I go more in depth. But if you are interested in having some of these legal things in place, you might want to check out the templates that I'm going to leave in the description of this video. But here's the thing, paperwork alone won't stop someone. You actually have to reinforce the legal rights that those documents carry. So similar to having an alarm system, the alarm system alone may not deter the person from actually stealing. However, it gives you the right to be able to call authorities to handle the situation. And that's exactly what I did in this case. So first things first, I handled the YouTube copycats because this is where it all stemmed from. So the first thing that I did was I filed a YouTube copyright takedown claim. So pretty much I informed YouTube that, hey, these people have stolen my video. They have used it. They have taken work unauthorized by me and use it and try to pass it off as their own. And with evidence. I was able to provide evidence of what was stolen. I was able to show my original work, the documentation, when I actually filmed it, when I recorded it, all those things to prove to YouTube that this was my work. It was unauthorized, and YouTube was able to force them to take the video down, or YouTube actually took the videos down. Now, I'm not going on a hunt trying to figure out who's stolen my stuff. I know that this is the nature of the internet, but thankfully I built enough trust with my community for them to inform me when they see videos that have been stolen from me. So thank you to my community. Now, in addition to doing the YouTube takedown request, I also sometimes will send an email directly to the person who has violated my copyright to let them know that I will pursue legal action because I have legal protection. Now, I'm not interested in whether or not they reply. It's just me doing a courtesy, letting them know what's about to come if they keep playing with me. Now, more importantly, I also inform my attorney of what's happening. I provide all of the evidence of how my works have been infringed upon so that she is up to date and she is aware, and then I get my advice from her. My attorney will let me know whether or not it's a great opportunity to pursue additional legal action or if what I've already done has sufficed. Now, in the case of the copied digital product, this is where we do take further legal action because they have violated the terms of their purchase by reproducing, recreating, re-whatevering my digital product and trying to pass it off as their own. Now, in this particular case, in this recent instance, my attorney did send a cease and desist letter. Now, if you don't know what a cease and desist is, it's really just a letter from an attorney literally demanding that they get rid of the stolen material, the infringed material, that they don't do it again, or else we, of course, will take further legal action. And if you remember, I said that for copyright infringement, you can literally go up to $150,000 in damages for each work. So I think they might take notice and stop doing what they're doing unless they just have a lot of money to give away. Now, I know some of you are going to be thinking, well, an attorney is expensive. And I will say expensive is relative when it comes to protecting your business. And I think sometimes it's just the cost of doing business if you truly feel like what you have is great. And because so many people have been stealing from me, it's obviously something that's great, right? So it's just a business expense. I know it can seem like a lot of money, but at the end of the day, you are protecting the thing that will make you a lot of money. And so that's just something that you have to consider if you are willing to make that investment to protect your intellectual property. And as for me, I truly believe in my intellectual property, or else I would not protect it, and I'm going to pay the cost. Now, I only use my attorney when necessary, when I need to handle things like dealing with other people who have violated my intellectual property. However, from the attorneys that I work with over the years, a lot of them will actually give free advice via email. So if you have a specific question, they can give you general advice that will give you the right direction on what you need to do. However, if you do need them to actually take further legal action, there is going to be a cost associated with that. Now, let me go through everything that I have in place to protect my intellectual property that you should consider having as well. So first things first, I had my product terms and conditions. Again, this outlined my intellectual property use and really the terms of the purchase. And this protects against anyone misusing the product that they purchased from me. In this case, someone copied it, they reworded it, and they tried to pass it off as their own. The second thing that I have in place is copyright. So I've registered my videos with the U.S. Copyright Office. So in the case that someone tries to steal, use, or misuse my video without authorization, I can pursue legal action for copyright infringement. The next thing that I had was the YouTube takedown request. And this is something that you can access if you have a YouTube channel. So if you see that someone has used your content, they've stolen your content, you have this ability to put in a request for them to have it taken down. Now, this isn't just unique to YouTube. YouTube does have it, but every other social media platform has it. So if people have been stealing your content, you can definitely have a takedown request. I've had to do takedown requests for people who have violated my trademarks. So all of my brand names are trademarks and people decide they want to try to play me. So with that said, know that you have that available to you on any social media platform. The next thing that we leveraged was a cease and desist letter. Now, you could technically write up a cease and desist letter on your own, but I just think it's more impactful if it's coming from an attorney because people know that you're not playing. Now, these can be a little pricey. I've gotten quotes quotes anywhere from around $700 to $1,000. It just depends on the attorney that you're working with. So just get advice to decide whether or not it's the right course of action to take. And if it is, just know that that's the range that I have at least gotten for what it costs for a cease and desist. And I just think it's more impactful coming from an attorney. And again, I had all my legal templates that I'm going to link in the description. So this means terms on my website, privacy policies, all those legal things that you need to have in place when you are selling digital products and have an online presence. So again, I'll leave the link for all of those in the description of this video. But if you want a deeper dive into the legal things that I have in place to protect my business and my intellectual property, check out this next video.